Okay, so sorry. Tonight class is a little bit delayed. All right, I had issues setting up the class. All right, and tonight class will not even be taking, will not be staying long. Tonight class won't take long, right? Because I couldn't prepare much for the class. I had issues setting up for the class, so I couldn't prepare much. All right, so we're just gonna, so that it doesn't look as if we not even have class at all today. That's why we're having this class. All right. So I really want to apologize to us. So let's just quickly take a thing or two. Okay. Let me get marker. So it happens to be volume 12 of class MTH106. All right. And today we're talking about free cash flow. Free cash flow. All right. So in our last class, we talked about. All right, we talked about some certain things, and based on that premise, we are going to continue on that tonight. All right, just like as I said, tonight's class will not be staying for long. All right, as a result of the issues with the network, I couldn't prepare much. All right, but let's just go to bed with this little. Now, when we say cash flow, all right, we said something about that in our last class. We said cash flow is the movement of money, all right, into or out of a business project or financial, all right, products. The movement of cash in or out, all right, from a business project or a financial report. That's what we refer to as cash flow. But now what we are talking about is free cash flow, all right. Now we say free cash flow can also be referred to as operating cash flow. All right, it can also be referred to as. Now, the parameters, all right, the measure, all right, of the relationship between free cash, all right, and operating cash, all right. The parameters, all right, parameter or measure, all right, measure between what? The free, all right, between the free cash flow and the operating cash flow. Between the free cash flow and the operating cash flow. Now, in one word, okay, in one word, it is said to be free cash flow is most, all right, often defined as the operating cash flow minus capital expenditure. All right, capital expenditure is also referred to as capex. Okay, now free cash flow. Now let me just abbreviate it. Free cash flow now, FCF. All right, is most often defined as what? Operating cash flow minus capital expenditure. Operating cash flow minus capital expenditure. Operating cash flow minus capital expenditure. Okay, free cash flow. Now, this free cash flow is considered to be an essential outflow, all right, of bonds to maintain a company's competitive and efficiency, all right, an essential outflow of funds, all right, to maintain a company's competitiveness and efficiency. All right, now this is the formula for it. We have FCF, all right, or OCF, that's operating cash flow ratio. All right, good evening, sir. It's good to have you on the stream. So we have equals, all right, free cash flow, okay, into bracket. So we have free cash flow into bracket, open cash flow minus capital expenditure. Open cash flow minus capital expenditure. All right, close bracket. You divide this by, all right, operating cash flow. Operating cash flow. All right, so this is the formula for free cash flow, all right, or operating cash flow ratio. Right, this is the free cash flow into bracket, operating cash flow minus capital expenditure, all right, divided by operating cash flow. All right, so we have that as that. All right, so now let's proceed. Now we have, take note of this abbreviation, PP and E. All right, and E. Okay, this is referred to as property, land, and equipment. All right, property, plant, property, plant, and equipment. All right, property, plant, and equipment. All right, PP and E, property, plant, and plants and equipment. All right, so just like as I said earlier on, all right, this class might not be taking too long. All right, as a result of I had issues updating the class and I couldn't prepare much for the class. Right, but I have just very few things here for us tonight, something we can actually take for tonight. So let's continue. Now let's talk about cash flow from investment activity. Cash flow, all right, from what? Investment activities. All right, now an item on the cash flow statement, all right, belongs in the investment activity section if it results from any gain or losses from investments in what? Financial markets and operating subsidiaries. Now, cash flow from investment activity. All right. Now, any item, all right, that reflects on cash flow statements. Cash flow statements. Any what? Item that reflects on the cash flow statement belonging to investment. All right? Belonging to what? Investment is as a result. All right? All right, I think we are back now. Network is pretty bad tonight. Network is pretty bad. So just like as I was saying, I said any item that reflects or that shows on cash flow statements, all right, can only be as a result of what? The inactivity of investment, whether lost or gain. Are we together? Now, cash flow statement reflecting, now item reflecting on the cash flow statement, all right, belonging to investment can only be as a result of activities like, okay, I think we are back now. Network is really pretty bad. This activity can only be as a result of either activities, all right, of investment, which could be what? Gain or losses. All right, these two things, it could be gain or losses, right? Whether it's gain or losses, so far it's activity that has to do with investment, to definitely show, to reflect on the cash flow statement. All right, now this activity that we're talking about, what does it mean in essence? All right, now an investment activity refers to cash what spent on investment, all right, investment activity. All right, investment activity, what? Investment activity refers to the what? Cash spent on investment in capital assets. When you invest money on capital assets, all right, cash spent on what? Investing in capital what? Assets. All right, cash spent on investing in capital assets such as plants, capital assets. All these things are capital assets, such as plants and equipment. All right, and equipment. All right, these are investments when you spend money on capital assets such as plants and equipment. All right, also referred to as capital expenditure. All right, or what? Capex. All right, capital expenditure or capex. All right, then you can refer to that action or activity as investment. Okay, now we have that as that. Okay, so I want us to take note of this abbreviation. We have CFF, we have okay, we have CFF, we have CFI, all right, we have CFO. So I want us to pay attention to these abbreviations. Now, CFF stands for what? Cash flow from finance. Cash flow from finance. All right. We have CFI, which stands for cash flow from investment. Cash flow from investment. All right. And we have CFO, cash flow from operation. Cash flow from operation. All right. So now the combination of these three gives us our net cash flow. All right. So the combination of these three gives us our net cash flow. So we have net cash flow. Now, net cash flow now, to get our net cash flow, we have CFF plus CFI plus CFO. All right, this will give us our net cash flow. All right, so a quick one before we call it a wrap for tonight. Now, what do we understand by this word equity? Equity, the word equity. All right, now equity is also called owner's equity. All right, also called owner's what? Equity. Now, this is the value, all right, the value an owner, all right, the owner of a business, the value, the owner of a what? The value, the owner of a business has left over after liabilities and, all right, after liabilities are deducted, after liabilities are deducted. Okay, so that is equity. All right, this is the value, all right, the owner of a business has left over after liabilities are deducted. All right, this MTH106 has some parts of accounting, as well as accounting terms, liabilities, assets. All right, all these are accounting terms. All right, asset, now we have plant, all right, we have buildings, all right, assets, all right, liabilities are things you spend money on, things that doesn't generate income, all right, it doesn't generate more money. But assets like land, also referred to as land, all right, anything that generates more money, all right, over time generates more money, all right, these are assets. All right, so we have, although this is quite it is quite large, it's not limited to this alone, all right, but these are just the very few ones, under assets and liability. All right, so for liability, all right, so for example of liabilities, now we have, okay, now as you can see, plants, all right, we have buildings, we have land, all right, so we have that as that. Okay, now we also have we can refer to this as debts, all right, debts. all right, debts, all right. So anything that takes away money from you, all right, anything, although they are divided, we have the current liabilities, we have the long term, all right, liabilities, all right. We have them different types. And when we say the long time, the one that exceeds, all right, a year. Okay. Now we have, so let's not just go into details and all this about, all right, these are things you get to know, all right, as this class, all right, continues. So basically, I think call it a wrap here for tonight, all right, and hopefully in our next class we'll expand more on this. So thank you very much, everyone. So sorry this class has to be this short, right? The network is pretty bad tonight, and setting up the class took almost forever. All right. So hopefully tomorrow, I think we're having another class tomorrow. Thank you very much, everyone, and I look forward to seeing us in subsequent tutorials. Bye bye.